I pushed my bruised wrist against the cool iron bars, biting my tongue to try and keep my sobs away. The small wagon's wooden wheels rattled over the ground, causing my cage to rock back and forth and crunch the tall grass of the northern prairie underneath it. I let out a small sigh as I felt the swelling in my wrist begin to recede. Several locks of my brown sweaty hair fell over my eyes, but I didn't care enough to whip them away. Between my strands of hair, I could see the shadows cast by the dark moon and stars. I wanted to curl back up into a ball and try to sleep or wake up from this nightmare, but my wrist had gotten so painful that I had no other choice but to move. A surge of pain shot through my hand. A silver blade appeared just over my injured wrist. I tried to scream, tasting iron as I bit my tongue. I tried jumping back, but instead was thrown as the wagon hit another bump. I landed on the other side of the cage. I clutched the small gash in my arm, smearing a trail of blood over my hand. Laughter reached my ears. Tears from the surprise, the pain, and everything else that had happened that day blurred my vision. And now I heard laughter. The laughter continued until I finally whipped my eyes with my hand, leaving several blemishes of not quite dry blood on my face and hair. On the other side of the cage road, an elf on a black horse cleaning the tip of his blade. I couldn't make out his face behind his silver mask and hood, but I could see his eyes. Looking into them was like looking into the dark moon itself. He even had silver rings around his pupils. "Don't worry, child of the dead," the elf said, sliding his sword back into his sheath. "We have no reason to kill you." His eyes smiled behind his mask. "Not that I wouldn't want you to give me one." I let my eyes fall to the wooden floor of my prison. If I didn't speak, he would leave soon enough. "Oh, little slave," he continued, "there is no need to look so down. After all, think of the life you are to live. One day, you were just a simple creature. You had to be content merely seeing your gods from a distance, but now you go to serve them. Doesn't this make you smile?" I didn't look up, but I could hear his pompous attitude and self-righteousness. The elves were gods in stories alone. No one in the north truly believed their claim to divinity. The elf continued to speak, but much of it was lost in the throbbing pain that still found my wrist and tongue. The only other elf was the one driving my prison, and he hadn't said a word since we had left. "Well, girl," he said expectedly. My heart froze, realizing that I hadn't heard his last words. He drew his sword again and tapped it against the bars. I shuddered and once again gripped the gash in my wrist.